Now, cut to your next big event of your life, not your marriage, but Operation Vajra Prahar. Operation Vajra Prahar is one of those rare operations which took place on the LC after Kargil. And besides other things, that it was a conventional operation in which we captured a post, and also the Air Force was used in this. Vipul, we need to know more.
Yeah, so this happened in last week, July, beginning August 2002. That is the period when this entire operation took place.
And that is also the time when Op Parakram was on.
Yeah, yes, this was part of Parakram, as you said. But what had happened was that there was a post. Let me just explain you. So this was a series of our posts.
This is a
Let's say
mountain range.
this is a mountain range, yeah, and these are the spurs going down. This is a Nala here, and this is Paki. So this is Pakistan. This is India. So what had happened was that, as per our understanding, the line of control passes here. That is, the forward edge of Pakistani post is our territory. All this territory belongs to us. But Pakistani had different perception as usual. So what they had done is there was a post here, which was not all the time occupied by us. We used to maintain a patrol. Patrol used to go, stay there for 10 days, come back. But we used to show presence here. So there was first Assam ka ek patrol which went, and as they were staying there, weather was pretty packed. There's a little high altitude,
A lot of cloud weather.
cloudy weather and all that. So while they were there and maintaining this post, they had sent a small detachment, a small section of 2-3 people who had to get water from the adjoining Nala. Stream rather, not a Nala. Not the Nala which we see in our places. When I say Pahadi Nala, it is portable water. So at that time, somehow what happened was that the cloud cover went
Lifted.
away, and the Paki spotted. It was like as the crow flies 200, 300 odd meters down on the stream. So that is the time they opened fire, and
Unarmed folks.
no, it was armed, but then they opened fire with the indirect weapons, mortar fire, infantry mortar fire, and one of Assam boys had a casualty. So that is the time when this thing got into swing. So immediately, I was one of the observation officers along this post. I was called to the post, which is right opposite this place called Point. In fact, this battle is called Battle of.
And which area is this?
This is Machal sector.
Machal.
Machal
Okay.
sector. And I was called, and we retaliated with our fire, and then eventually the Pakis came and occupied. I still remember that night. Then we were sitting, we were standing and being briefed, and we are looking into Pakistan, and the senior officer was briefing us that now we have inputs that they are occupying this post, and we could see a streak of torchlights
Coming down.
coming down. I mean, they are beefing up the post as we see and talk. So they had beefed up the post, and then we were sent for a recce initially, just to find out more about that. So in that recce, I was there. There was an engineer officer, because inputs were there that the area is mined, but there is no map.
And also officers from the Assam battalion.
Of course, Assam and Siklai. So basically, they were the stakeholders, so to say. And we went there for a recce, and we confirmed that the size of the troops was more than just for Assam and Siklai to handle it. So then we had 21 Parasef, a very renowned and eminent unit, para unit. They were flown in overnight from, I think they were operating Rajouri, if I'm not wrong. And they were got in. And then we went in. We had to go in for a
Capture.
proper official conventional operation raid on the post and capture it back. But then the plans didn't go the way they were supposed to.
What happened?
Because what happened was that before we go for any such attack, we are supposed to pound on the targets, make it soft target, as in army term, when you soft and target. Basically, we throw a lot of HE and gola barud on that, so that becomes little less resistant before our infantry moves in. So that was a daytime activity for us, and next day morning we have to go, or later night we have to go. What happened that night? Pakistan retaliated in a big time. It was a very dark night per se for that regiment and for all of us, because we saw casualties happening and there was a lot of mayhem that they caused, Pakis caused. And that is the time we changed the plan. And then Air Force was brought in, as brought out by you. This was the only operation pre-Balakot where Air Force was used. And only operation after Kargil where Air Force was used in support of Army. And then again, of course, we went in and there was a string of events that happened. I mean, again, being on the target end of artillery is something which gives you a lot of lessons, which tells you a lot about the potency of the arm that we served.
So any moments from that? I mean,
yes, and there was an incident that I remember very vividly. So it was that night when I was talking of that the Pakis fired on us and we had to change our plan because of that. So that night, one of the unfortunate shells landed up near a corridor where a very senior person of a unit, I mean, Subedar Major of 11 Siklai, Subedar Major Sucha Singh, if I remember the name correctly, he was standing. He had actually gone to take some orders from the commanding officer, and he was supposed to go back, and it was intermittent firing, as I brought out earlier. There is no set pattern, and that shell landed right where he was, and there was another Jawan with him, and he suffered fatal injuries per se. In fact, we were there. When we heard this shell, because we were in a different bunker, everybody was split all around the post. There are different bunkers. Bunkers is basically, those.
You're cut into rocks.
Yeah, cut
It's
into
almost
rocks
like a
and
cave
steel,
kind of a thing.
basically to prevent you from
Getting
shelling.
hit by
Yeah.
shelling.
So while the enemy fires, you retaliate from behind, and people who are on the post, all they can do is, as of now, to
Protect
take
themselves.
shelter. Yeah, take shelter. So that is what we were doing, and then we heard these cries, and it was obvious that the shell is landed on the post because we could hear that
Whistling.
that
noise.
whistling sound, and then a cry. So we were 2-3 of us who moved out
To get him.
to get him, because we didn't know at that time what had happened. I mean, we just knew there's a cry, and it was a wild cry, and of course a burst which was hardly maybe 10 to 12 meters out from us was the blast. So we immediately went out and we saw this guy bleeding profusely. His entire gut was out and his leg was out. One leg was out. So immediately there was no time to think. I mean, so there were 3 of us. 2 of them lifted him somehow, whatever was left. We took this thing, and there was a MI room. I took the leg, medical intervention room. And we went there and we took him. And by that time, of course, there was another person who was injured. He also was dragged. And there were during operation, whatever small casualties they were there. There were already
A lot of people.
people already there. There was chaos. There was another officer, my own unit officer, who in the same shell got hit on the eye. There was a big splinter which went in. So doctor had his hands full. And I remember this Subedar Major Sucha Singh rather. He told the doctor, right in front of us, he told the doctor that, Doctor Sahab, aap mere ko attend mat karo. Because he knew from within that he is not going to survive. But I mean, I can't tell him that. But see the
Strength of that.
strength of that guy and the motivation and the composure that he maintained at that time. He told this to doctor, and I remember only one thing very vividly, because we were trying to pump him up. Sab kuch nahi hoga. Don't worry. And all this while when the other shells are also landing left, right. It was all chaos. And doctor finally was attending to that signal wala guy. Signal ka banda tha, hamara jo communication dekhta hai. Usko bola ki isko bachao. He may survive.
So you are trying to tell me that a man, he must be around 40, 42?
Maybe little more, 45, 46. Maybe,
He's
yes.
been hit, his guts are out, he's blown up a leg. And while a doctor is treating him, he tells him, कि मुझे मत बचाओ, मैं बचूंगा नहीं, उसको बचाओ. You want to say this?
I'm witness to that. And trust me, I mean, it's as of now I talk, it gives me a different feel. I mean, it's a goosebumpish feeling only to remember such patriotic moments, I'll say. I mean, imagine, he could have been crying this thing. And anyway, Subedar Major is a big person. He's the
father of the battalion.
Father of the battalion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, doctor would not probably, in all his wits, he would not probably attend to anybody else. Because he would try to save him, but somehow he उसको पता था, somehow he knew his last time has come. He mentioned that साहब मेरा ठीक है, बस एक बेटी का, I think एक, as I remember, it's a very old memory now, but he definitely mentioned about his daughter कि वो रह गया काम. That is the only regret that he had, with utter satisfaction otherwise, कि अब मेरा हो गया है, उसको बचाओ आप, let me go. So that level of I respect and salute to the unit and the upbringing and whatever, 11 Sikhla is the unit. I can miss that.
Wow, Vipul, this is really hair-raising stuff, and I hope Indian Army and Government of India rewarded that person enough, and I hope he got something for his brave deeds.
Yeah, I think if my memory serves me right, he was awarded Senior Medal Gallantry.
Thank
Yes, it was honored.
And I'm quite certain that 11 Sikhlai would have taken care of the family and they would have taken care of everything else. But just for our audience to know that, these are the kind of men you spend your lives with, who will not for a moment think about themselves or to try to save themselves while they know what's happening to them. Imagine a person saying कि मुझे मत बचाओ, इसे बचा लो क्योंकि इसके बचने का स्कोप ज़्यादा है. It's something else, Vipul. I mean, we are all grateful to people of Indian Army, the soldiers, the Jawans, the JCOs, the officers, who are actually, sacrificing their lives, their present for people's tomorrow. But thanks for telling us this amazing story. And I know it's not a story, it's a lived memory.